Hello and a very good evening. Welcome to the GCSE Geography presentation. Thank you very much for joining us. My name is Miss Welburn and I'm going to be talking to you a little bit about the type of experience you can expect if you choose to study geography for one of your GCSE options. There's quite a lot to cover. I'll try and get through it in time, and of course if you do have any questions, we'll leave time at the end for questions. There's a chat function available, so if you do have any questions, please feel free to ask. Okay, so just to give you some insight into what to expect of the presentation today. So I'm just going to be answering some of the common questions I get asked from Year 9 students when they're reaching this point in their time at JCG and the excitement of choosing your options is on the horizon. So a few key questions that I get asked and that I'm going to try and answer as best I can this evening. Why should I study geography at GCSE? Looking beyond GCSEs and A-levels, do universities welcome geography students? How does GCSE geography relate to the real world around me? What exactly will I study as part of my GCSE course? What are the exam results like? How will I be assessed? Where could geography take me in the future? And then, of course, we'll leave some time for questions at the end. Okay, so I'll just start by going through some of the key reasons why studying geography can add real value to your educational experience here at JCG and beyond GCSEs. So geography increases your awareness and understanding of the physical and human world around you. So we break geography down into sort of two categories to help us understand it in more detail. One of those categories is physical geography, which explains what's around us. Human geography explores a wide range of really fascinating contemporary and historical issues, such as international development, urbanization, and economic systems. Both physical and human geography are very much interconnected, and we look at some of those really fascinating areas where the two cross over. Geography bridges the gap between science and the arts. So if you're a student who, like myself, when I was doing my options, was torn between the arts and the sciences, geography sits really nicely in between those two subject areas and can really develop skills which can be applied to both faculties. And on that note, the skills that you'll develop through studying geography are really transferable. So analysing data, collecting data, making decisions for yourself, forming opinions and justifying those opinions with data, writing essays and presenting your work, whether that be in the form of a presentation or as an essay or as some kind of creative poster. There's so many skills that you'll develop during geography which you can apply to other subjects that you're studying, and will also develop skills that you'll use later on if you choose to study A-levels here at JCG or elsewhere. Geography really opens doors. So again, whether or not you've decided what your A-level future and beyond looks like or not, geography is a subject that will keep your options open. You're definitely not closing any doors by studying geography. Geography stimulates you to ask questions and think for yourself. This is something I really love to see as I'm teaching geography at GCSE level and above, is seeing students really start to find their own opinions about things that we're studying, asking some really interesting questions and going above and out of their way to find the answers. And last but not least, geography promotes teamwork. And as you can see in the photograph on the board at the moment, this is a group of A-level students who worked so hard together to collect their data for their NEA. Now, we do some field work at GCSE as well, and there'll be many opportunities in the classroom too to develop teamwork skills and maybe make some new friends that you haven't even met yet. Okay, so moving on to our next question. Now, university might seem a long way off in the distance, but it's always worth bearing in mind what decisions you can make now to take a step forward in terms of getting you to your goals of where your education would like to go. So the UK government describes geography as a facilitating subject. So as I just mentioned, geography really opens doors, not just at GCSE or A level, but at university level as well. It's really useful in broadening to other GCSE combinations whilst remaining a really well-respected subject in its own right. So this is feedback from universities, and as you can see, they really highly regard geography as a subject that stands in its own merit. And as mentioned before, it bridges the gap between the sciences and the arts, and that applies to university level as well. Okay, so it might seem quite obvious that obviously geography is the study of the world around us, but how can we actually relate geography to the real world? Now, some of the topics on the board we look at GCSE level, some of them come further down the line at A level. Some examples: extreme weather events, development and international relations, sustainability, migration stories, climate change, all of these buzzwords that we hear in the news almost every day. Now, geography studies these subjects in great detail, which will enable you to understand the news every day in a bit more detail and have conversations about some of these topics with confidence. Okay, so down to the details of your actual GCSE. What is it exactly that you'll be studying as part of your 2-year GCSE course here at JCG? So the content is split into 5 key areas of study, which are on the board at the moment. The first one is coastal landscapes. Now, living on an island in Jersey, we're really fortunate to be able to study the coast in detail, even when we're just out for a walk maybe, and we'll do some field work as part of that GCSE course as well, where you'll be going out to a local beach and collecting some of your own data, which will also form part of your final exam. The second area of study is urban landscapes. Economic systems is the third piece. Area of study 4 is human welfare and development. And finally, area of study 5 is tectonic hazards. So the exam board that we use, in case you do want to go and have a look at the specification in detail, is the Pearson iGCSE. And if you type into Google the Pearson iGCSE, the specification is available for you to have a look at later on this evening if you'd like to. I will also be sharing the link to that with all Year 9 students tomorrow so that you can have a look. Now, you'll have one teacher throughout your course, and that's from Year 10 all the way to the end of your GCSE in Year 11. The teachers have not been decided yet, but you will find out in September if you choose geography, and you'll remain with that teacher throughout your GCSE. So, exam results. The 3-year average between 2018 and 2020 results are just here on the board. Really fantastic set of results that we're really proud of as a department. The students have worked exceptionally hard, especially through COVID times, and we're really proud of their achievements. So on that note of exam results, how is it exactly that you'll be assessed on those 5 key areas of study that I've just talked about? So if you choose to study geography, your assessments will be in the summer term of 2024. The exams will consist of 2 examination papers. So we break the exams down into 1 physical paper and 1 human. So the physical paper will contain questions on coasts and hazards, and there'll be some questions on investigating coastal environments as well. So questions about sampling strategies, which we'll spend lots of time looking at in preparation to go and collect our own data. And the second paper will contain questions on urban environments, economic systems and energy, and finally development and human welfare. There is no coursework component as part of the exam board that we choose, so all assessments will be exam-based. Fieldwork. Now, this is one of the most popular questions I get asked by Year 9 students who are really keen to get out and do some real geography and investigate the areas around them. So in order to complete your GCSE, it's a requirement to complete between 2 and 4 days of fieldwork. And it's during these days of data collection where you'll learn lots of skills that will be part of your paper 1 assessment, investigating coastal environments. So we'll write a methodology before we go out into the field. We'll learn about the equipment and the different types of sampling that we need to use in order to collect the most reliable data. We'll go out and collect it and have lots of fun collecting our data, working in teams. We'll then come back to the classroom and look at our data. We'll present it, we'll analyse it, and then we'll start to draw some conclusions about what we found. We'll also start to think critically about the process of collecting data and how sometimes we can make mistakes or our equipment can fail, but it's really important to learn from those mistakes, and we can talk about them as learning opportunities. Now, at the moment, given the restrictions due to travel, fieldwork is due to take place in Jersey. However, if things change by the time you guys are due to go out and do your fieldwork, we will review where that fieldwork will take place. But we're in such a great location to go out and actually collect some fieldwork data right here on our doorstep. So zooming out a little bit again, thinking about beyond life at JCG, where could geography take you? Now, there's just so many opportunities and so many directions that you could choose. There's some examples here on the board from graphic designers, project managers, going into the forces, teachers, conservationists. There's students that have formerly been at JCG that have gone on to work for the states and are currently working to plan how Jersey will become carbon neutral in the next decade. So some really important roles that are present and coming up in the future that geographers would be very well suited to. So I'd just like to end my presentation this evening with a quote from one of my favourite geographers, Sir John Muir. When we try to pick out anything by itself, we find it hitched to everything else in the universe. And I think this really encapsulates geography for me, that by identifying and studying one area, we understand that it's actually so interconnected and so complex and leads to more questions to go out and answer. Thank you so much for listening. I know I've packed in quite a lot of information quite quickly. I do want to leave time for questions now if you do have any. Alternatively, if you can't think of any questions but some come to you later on, please feel free to send me an email address. So my email is on the board there and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. If there's any Year 9s listening at the moment, please do pop in and have a chat with me or speak to some current Year 10s or Year 11s to get some first-hand accounts of how they're finding their GCSE course. It's such a fun course, it's lots of hard work, but if you're passionate about geography, I'd really encourage you to consider studying it for GCSE. Thank you so much and enjoy the rest of the evening.